obscure city is a place where you can find many unique dangers. This is where she works, Cassandra Killjoy, paranormal private eye. Now a teenage girl's father has gone missing, and Killjoy believes that the city's enigmatic protector, the swordsman, is the key to finding him. So Killjoy must face many deadly dangers in her search for the swordsman. Available on Amazon.com.
Did you know that there have been multiple attempts to make a Batman Beyond movie? The most recent, just 6 months ago. But time and time again, this highly desired movie just can't get off the ground, and it might just fade away into yet another of the legends of fandom. Greetings fanboys and fangirls, I'm Erod and I'm the Blockbuster Buster, and welcome to Legends of Fandom, where we talk about the fanboy films and shows that almost happened. Today, our story begins in the late 90s. The WB network had garnered a great deal of success via their Saturday morning lineup, the Kids WB. However, a change in leadership called for a change in the lineup. The new mission statement for the programming block was to have a more youthful look. Ergo, they were only producing shows that featured young heroes. At this point, the WB owed a great deal of its success to the DC adaptations produced by Warner Bros. Animation, namely Superman the Animated Series and the new Batman adventures. So it was only natural that they would want a DC show to be a part of this new upcoming overhaul of the Kids WB. This is when the idea of a show starring a young Batman was first proposed, one that would be created by the masterminds behind the DC animated universe. Famously, Batman the Animated Series co-creator Bruce Timm hated the idea and wanted no part of it. Mainly, Bruce Timm just didn't believe that Bruce Wayne would ever give up being Batman and pass the mantle to a younger hero, no matter how old or how injured he was. It was the legendary Alan Burnett who convinced him otherwise, when he pitched him the first scene of the pilot episode, in which an old Bruce Wayne is still fighting crime as Batman, only to suffer a heart attack while in the middle of a fight, an occurrence that makes him feel so vulnerable and desperate that he resorts to picking up a gun to defend himself. Disappointed with his actions, Bruce hangs up the suit for good, only for it to be picked up a few years later by a rebellious teen named Terry McGinnis. While the WB wanted a light action-adventure tone for their new lineup, that is not what the Warner Bros. Animation team delivered, as Batman Beyond ended up being the darkest show the Kids WB ever aired, as well as the darkest show in the DC animated universe, which is saying something. The logic behind this is that the creators didn't think the show was going to last, so they took every imaginable risk believing that the show would be cancelled at any moment. This hilariously backfired, as Batman Beyond would go on to become the highest rated show on the Kids WB lineup, cultivating a loyal fan base that holds steady to this very day. The desire for a Batman Beyond movie has been there almost from the beginning. And now for the question you've all been waiting for. What would a Batman Beyond movie be like? Well, you're in luck, because thanks to the internet we know what at least 4 different Batman Beyond movies would be like. The earliest Batman Beyond movie was proposed way back in 2002. The animated series had just ended the previous year, and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man had just shattered Tim Burton's Batman's 13-year record as the highest grossing comic book-based movie. Suffice it to say, Warner Bros. Wanted to fire back. At this time, multiple Batman projects were being pitched. The most popular at the time was an adaptation of Batman Year One, directed by Darren Aronofsky. But right along with that was a pitch for what could have been the first Batman Beyond movie. This would have been an abridged live-action adaptation of the first season, starring Clint Eastwood as Old Bruce and Vincent Kartheiser as Terry McGinnis, which would have told the story of Bruce's retirement and Terry taking up the mantle, and would have featured Blight as the primary villain. All of that sounds amazing. And now for the second most important question of this video, which you're gonna hear several times. Why didn't this happen? To put it plainly, it was scrapped in favor of Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins. We wouldn't hear news or even rumors of a Batman Beyond movie again for about 6 years. While Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy is one of the most successful comic book-based film franchises of all time, and Batman Begins certainly didn't bomb, it did underperform. Or more accurately, it sure as hell didn't make as much money as Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. So Warner Brothers went into panic mode and for a time considered rebooting the franchise. One of these possible course corrections was an adaptation of Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, starring Sylvester Stallone, fresh off of the success of Rocky Balboa as Old Bruce. As far as what the rest of that pitch was like, we have no idea. What we do know is that what got Warner Brothers most excited was the prospect of getting Sylvester Stallone involved with the Batman franchise, as this was followed up by another Batman Beyond movie pitch. This one would have featured Sylvester Stallone as Old Bruce and Logan Lerman as Terry McGinnis, and would have had Inc. and the Cult of Cobra as the primary villains. And the plot would have revolved around corporate sabotage. So why didn't this happen? Apparently, Christopher Nolan hit them with his pitch for The Dark Knight, and it was just too good to turn down. And judging by the results, the studio made the right decision. So news and rumors about the legendary Batman Beyond movie would go dormant for about 5 more years, when suddenly concept artist Thomas D. Crest was kind enough to share some artwork on his Instagram of another Batman Beyond movie pitch. According to him, all the pre-visualization art was purposely hyper-realistic, as that seemed to be the direction and aesthetic that Warner Brothers wanted for the franchise after the massive success of the Dark Knight trilogy. So the concept art for this pitch was created in the style of the Christopher Nolan movies. This time, the Batman Beyond movie was pitched as a follow-up to the Dark Knight trilogy, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt as the Knight of Tomorrow. So why didn't this happen? You see, by this point, Marvel Studios had taken off with their shared universe film franchise, and Warner Brothers was restructuring the DC properties under their banner in this bold new direction. So once again, news and rumors about a Batman Beyond movie went dormant until this year, when the internet was set ablaze by the release of some amazing concept art done to the style of the highly successful Spider-Verse movies. Apparently, these pieces were part of a pitch for a Batman Beyond animated film by artist Yuki Demers, who worked on the Spider-Verse movies, and writer-director Patrick Harpin, who worked on My Dad the Bounty Hunter. What would this Batman Beyond movie be like? Sadly, we don't know. We can glean from the concept art that Inc. might have been a part of it, but that might just be the creators trying to capture the flavor of the animated series in their pitch. But here's the part of this story that has everyone excited. Apparently, before Demers and Harpin pitched the movie to Warner Brothers, they were outright told that under no circumstances would they approve their movie. However, after the pitch, they changed their no to a maybe. And just that small inkling of a possibility has become a resounding call to arms for the fan base, who have started petitions to bring Will Friedle back as the voice of Terry McGinnis, and have called for the retirement of the character of Old Bruce, out of respect to the late Kevin Conroy, which would potentially make this movie a continuation of the original animated series, as opposed to a retelling or a reboot, which would see Terry McGinnis finally operating as Batman alone, without Bruce mentoring him. Something that we got a little taste of in the Justice League Unlimited episode Epilogue.
I was worried about Gotham. If Batman's not around.
I've got it covered. Always.
However, it's been a few months since Warner Brothers gave their maybe, and we are yet to hear any further news. So once again, why hasn't this happened? Well, there are 2 prevailing theories. The first one is that the rights for the show are a bit tied up, as the show was initially owned by the WB network, which was merged with UPN, which is owned by Columbia, to create the CW, meaning that Columbia has partial claim on the property, meaning that if they move forward with a movie, Columbia, aka Sony, would get a piece of the pie. The second theory is far more plausible. You see, right now, as I am recording this, there is just too much damn Batman. A new Bruce Timm Batman animated show is due to premiere on August 1st on Prime Video. Plus, James Gunn is planning to make a movie that is part of his new DC cinematic universe. Plus, Matt Reeves is making a sequel to his Batman movie. Plus, Joker 2, obnoxiously pretentious subtitle, comes out on October 4th. But still, in spite of all of that, Warner Brothers said Maybe. But what do you think? Are you happy with Batman Beyond just being an animated series, or are you among the many that is clamoring for it to be immortalized on the big screen? Let me know in the comment section below, as we have once again reached the end of this video. So, do you know of any fanboy films or shows that almost happened? Let me know at erod@inbox.com. And who knows, your suggestion might just end up being the topic of the next Legends of Fandom. Until then, I'm Erod, and I'm the Blockbuster Buster.